solve the problem because he knows, again, that is hearsay. What you need is the document. The document.
Madam President, the clerk is clearly, Madam President, this is really going, this is like to the point of the ridiculous, okay? The clerk in the discharge of his office has indicated that he has reviewed documents with my signature on them dated the 3rd of July, and he has stated what those documents are. If the honorable member genuinely wished to see, he could only go down to the clerk's office and ask to see those documents. So this is just nothing but a show and dance, and I suggest, Madam President,
no, sir, don't cast aspersions. No.
Okay, I withdraw that. I withdraw that.
Please.
I withdraw that, sir. I withdraw that. Now, I withdraw that, sir. May we now move on? And I would like, at this point, to withdraw the document filed on the 6th, the 2nd of July. If I may,
I was coming to that.
Yeah,
you're so certain that that's the case.
Yes,
I am requesting of you, Madam President, to see the document of the 3rd July, signed by the Attorney General. That will be a fact. I understand there's also a log which is kept. That will be a fact. I should use the expression, out of an abundance of caution.
Madam President, the fact of the matter is that the files in the possession of the clerk, the audio-visual record, are the records of the Senate. The fact is the Senate does not have a Hansard, and it has been the case since the dawn of the Senate that first of all, there was only tapes before television. After television, the audio-visual tapes of its proceedings are its record.
Madam, if the Attorney General reads the law, the record, Madam President, please, the record is what the clerk says the record is. It's recorded in the minutes.
The clerk has said what the records are in his letter.
Please. I am saying that I would wish to go and see the document. The document. The document.
I think you're free to do that.
The document. And that's all. And so there's no need to get agitated.
But you don't need to ask us that. You just need to go, as any senator can, to the clerk.
One at a time. Senator Mitchell. Senator Mitchell.
We are in a public office, not a private
Senator Mitchell.
office. This ain't about private conversations.
The integrity of this body, I think, it suggests, your comment suggests that the integrity is being questioned.
No, sir. Please don't put that on. No, madam.
No,
I am simply asking for the public record to be clarified. That's all I'm asking.
Can I speak?
That's all I'm asking.
That's all.
You have an opportunity to get the records that you are requesting, not from this body, but from the clerk who has possession of the records at this point.
If that is so,
the
lawyers will have to deal with it. That's all. Yeah. The lawyers will have to deal
fine.
with it.
Okay, fine. But Madam President has made a ruling. So, Madam President, may we now continue with the agenda?
Yes, you may.
It is the intention of... Pardon me. The rules are clear, Madam President, that should the member, as an honorable member of the Senate, wish to see any official document, he need only make a request of the clerk.
I made my request.
You made it of the President. You made it of the President.
President is...
Mr. Senator Mitchell, please have some respect for the proceedings.
Please, don't lecture me. Please.
Madam President, please. It is the intention for
as you indicated,
adjourn, ma'am.
That the ruling has been made.
Yes.
Senator Mitchell is aware that he has the opportunity and the right to request the document that he requires, and he has been given that right and opportunity.
Very good. Okay, since we're speaking about lawyers, Madam President, I have another request. I have a request to you.
Yes.
When we came in this afternoon, we met that box of old tabled documents
And another.
having been rummaged through and strewn all over the ground. I would request that you call. I would request through you to the clerk, the chief clerk, that he cause the police to investigate that. I have asked the chief clerk if he and his persons were rummaging through these files. I have the photograph, and they were not rummaging through them, which appears to me to indicate that some stranger, I don't know where or for what reason, has been rummaging through the files of all table documents. And I would request a police investigation. Secondly, in view of the fact that it is not clear from that circumstance that the precincts of the Senate are safe, I formally request you, Madam President, to order that the tape of the proceedings of the 3rd day of July, which is one tape from morning until the final suspension of the Senate, that tape be taken and hand-delivered to the Commissioner of Police for safekeeping for a period of 6 months. Thank you.
This has got to be a joke.
No,
The Attorney General knows that the tape proves nothing. The tape is hearsay.
Well,
All it says is this. I put a document.
Senator Mitchell.
This is a red herring.
Senator Mitchell.
This is a red herring.
No, hold on.
Red herring.
Well, can we silence, please? One of the observations of the chair is that Senator Mitchell is extremely particular about orders and rules. But I would like to think that in that same vein, those peculiarities or particulars is observed by all present. Whenever it seems that there is a response that needs to be made based on something that another senator has said, Senator Mitchell, my preference would be that you allow yourself to be recognized before you start with whatever comments that you need to make. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Communications by ministers. Communications by ministers. Nope. Communications by senators. Questions? Yes, sir.
Request before you under Rule 46. I have not received an answer to it. I think the Attorney General last time we were here we spoke before the meeting took place, and he said he had certain information about the issues that arose in Abaco. There was under Rule 46. You ruled that there should be no matter of critical urgent importance on one occasion.
Yeah.
I renewed the request.
Yeah.
Because the minister indicated at the time that the minister who was responsible was not, most extraordinary, but the minister who's responsible was not in the House and not in the Senate. I renewed the request. That minister is now here.
I think what occurred.
It's been made more than abundantly clear by the health professionals, by the documentation that has been sent through BIS of all matters to do with the incident in Abaco, meaning the entry of the Bakers Bay workers. All matters that the COVID testing results were all sent by BIS. The travel visas were all disclosed. Everything was fully disclosed. Their immigration status as having work permits was all fully disclosed. There is nothing further to question, Madam President. So could we kindly move on? Thank you.
Well, you've complied, Madam President. He's now complied with the request. It was as simple as that. All this agitation and rowing and stuff about
But
BI.
would
The
no.
point is you're supposed to give accountability to the Senate. Please don't lecture me. Don't lecture me. Please, 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 please. I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm not lecturing anybody. Not lecturing
Senator
anybody.
Mitchell, take your seat, please. I just want to make a comment. On the original document that was submitted, I saw that the document came to me the morning that this issue arose, and I think that would have been the Friday. In actual fact, I think if I were presenting something for clarity to any member of this body, I would have, with due respect, recognized the individual in the document. The document had, as the addressee, you, YOU, and a name. Not my name. Not Madam President, not President, not Madam. When I arrived here, as a matter of fact, I saw that after the fact. I was approached by the clerk who indicated that Senator Mitchell had had sent in this request. On that request, it had Mildred Me Ashran. Okay? And the last sentence is, I wish that this matter, I guess it says very explained, but probably should be explained by the government. And Fred Mitchell was no, I'm reading what is on the document. It did not say Senator Fred Mitchell. So in actuality, not having a document addressed to me as President of the Senate, I do not see where it was even appropriate for me to respond. Nevertheless, taking into consideration common sense, I allowed the issue to be brought up because I knew what was intended. But properly, I would like to feel that any document that is addressed to any member of this body be appropriately addressed to that individual. When a week or at one of our sittings, when the Attorney General referred to one of our members as young lady, that was felt to be inappropriate. So when I am then referred to as you, that is beyond inappropriate. And so in light of all of that, I would like all of us to make sure that we address each other properly.
Right, Madam President, just a point of clarity to be sure. I asked that the proclamation that was tabled on Monday, the 6th, be removed from the record and withdrawn. And you didn't so order.
Don't you have unanimous consent to do that?
No, you don't. I can withdraw my own document.
Well, I so order that document of a second reading be withdrawn.
Thank you.
Madam President, just last week.
Show me the rules.
Just last. No, I'm not. I'm just arguing the consistency. I will. When the first document was withdrawn of the 3rd of July, the minister asked for the unanimous consent. He said, "Can I have the unanimous consent to withdraw the document?" And we agreed. I'm only pointing out what he himself did.
Okay.
Right. Secondly, as regards the addressee, so on and so forth, the rule was you just said, indicated earlier that communications, the records, so on and so forth, go through the clerk. The document was addressed to the clerk, and the clerk brings it to your attention. That's what happened. And it was done 1 hour before before the session started.
Well,
you,
actually,
ma'am.
the time
Thank you,
on
ma'am.
this is 9:13.
9:15, so it wasn't 1 hour.
So
No,
it was
no,
not an
no,
hour.
no.
Well,
when
I'm getting
it was
the time
brought to you-
off the document.
Madam,
Okay.
can you, because we're going to run up against the other place in a minute.
And that's the other thing. What is, the government cannot get its timing right.
Please.
We need to be rushed out of here because
Questions.
Please.
Answers to
meeting.
questions, presentation of petitions, appointment of select committees, reports of committees. First reading of bills, second reading.
Yes.
First reading.
First reading of bills.
Okay.
The chair recognizes Senator
Yeah.
Folks.
Madam President, I wish to read for the first time a bill for an act to reform the law as it relates to death by reckless or dangerous driving and to establish the offenses of vehicular manslaughter by reckless driving, dangerous driving, and by careless driving while under influence of drugs or alcohol, and by driving while committing the offenses of driving while unlicensed, disqualified, or uninsured, and by driving with unbelted children or other persons or passengers to provide for higher penalties for these road death offenses and for connected purposes.
Madam President, I rise to second.
Documents be brought up. May the documents will lie on the table. Further first reading of bills.
Yes. You have to,
Do we have to do that now?
you have to, you have to.
It has to be seconded, but who's going to second it?
Just the question.
So who's going to second it?
Yeah. It's been seconded.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that a road traffic amendment number 2, Bill 2019, has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? We read it first time, sorry. A bill for an act to reform the law as it relates to death by reckless or dangerous driving and to establish the offenses of vehicular manslaughter by reckless driving, dangerous driving, and by careless driving while under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and by driving while committing the offenses of driving while unlicensed, disqualified, or uninsured, and by driving with unbelted children or other persons as passengers to provide for higher penalties for these road death offenses and for connected purposes. All those in favor of the bill being read a first time?
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. Bill read a first time.
Driving and to establish the offenses of vehicular manslaughter by reckless driving, dangerous driving, and by careless driving while under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and by driving while committing the offenses of driving while unlicensed, disqualified, or uninsured, and by driving with unbelted children or other persons as passengers to provide for higher penalties for these road death offenses and for connected purposes.
Further first readings?
Yes, Madam President. I beg leave to have read for the first time a bill for an act to amend the Protection of Depositors Act to streamline the role and functions of the Deposit Insurance Corporation to provide for the enhanced protections for depositors and for connected purposes thereto.
It has been moved and seconded that a bill for the protection of depositors, Amendment Bill 2020, a bill for an act to amend the Protection of Depositors Act to streamline the role and functions of the Deposit Insurance Corporation to provide for enhanced protections for depositors and for connected purposes thereto. The bill has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The bill to be read a first time.
A bill for an act to amend the Protection of Depositors Act to streamline the role and functions of the Deposit Insurance Corporation to provide for enhanced protections for
depositors and for connected purposes thereto.
For the first reading.
Yes, Madam President. I beg leave to have read for the first time a bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Trust Companies Regulations Act and to consolidate and modernize the law regulating banks and trust companies within the Bahamas and for connected purposes.
Madam President, I rise to second.
It has been moved and seconded that a bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Trust Companies Regulation Act and to consolidate and modernize the law regulating banks and trust companies within the Bahamas and for connected matters. The bill has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the bill being read a first time, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The bill to be read a first time.
A bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Trust Companies Regulation Act and to consolidate and modernize the law regulating banks and trust companies within the Bahamas and for connected matters.
For the first reading.
Yes, Madam President. I beg your leave to have read for the first time a bill for an act to repeal the Central Bank of the Bahamas Act, Chapter 351, to consolidate and modernize the law governing the Central Bank of the Bahamas and for connected matters.
Madam President, I rise to second it.
It has been moved and seconded that a bill for an act to repeal the Central Bank of the Bahamas Act, Chapter 351, to consolidate and modernize the law governing the Central Bank of the Bahamas and for connected purposes. All those in favor of the bill being read a first time, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Bill to be read a first time.
Bill for an act to repeal the Central Bank of the Bahamas Act, Chapter 351, to consolidate and modernize the law governing the Central Bank of the Bahamas and for connected matters.
For the first reading of bills.
No, Madam President.
Second reading and committal of bills.
None, Madam President.
Committee of the whole Senate.
None.
The third reading and passing of bills.
None.
Consideration of House amendments. Resolutions. Discharge of select committees. Notices for future meetings.
Yeah, Madam President, I beg leave, first of all, to renew all items on the agenda in the name of the government and give notice that we intend to adjourn the Senate till tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and that the resolution, the order of the day would be the resolution to extend the emergency orders, which was tabled on the 6th of July, 2020. Thank you.
Senator Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm renewing all notices now.
Yes, because we rescinded the 6th.
Abundance of caution, I would like to table.
We rescinded the 6th.
It's a resolution. A resolution to extend on Monday, July 6th is what I said. Fred, I'm sorry. I tabled it on there. I'm giving notice that the resolution that we tabled on the 6th of July to extend the proclamation until the 31st of July to approve and affirm the regulations, to approve and affirm all of the orders issued pursuant to the regulations, that they be extended to the 31st of July, and we'll debate that tomorrow, if I may. That is the notice I give, Madam President.
Yeah, the Attorney General did tell me he had a caucus before this meeting. Looks like Count Salad to me. Anyway.
As president and as a part of the Attorney General's caucus, I take exception to those comments.
Yeah, well, fine. I'm
And
sorry
I-
you take
I
exception.
think-
That is an unparliamentary word.
And-
Count Salad?
No, to accuse senators
Yes, right.
of being some inanimate objects is not parliamentary.
Oh, well, okay, I withdraw it.
Thank you very
They're
much,
not
Senator.
Count Salad.
I'm so happy
Yes,
that
they're
you
not Count
you had the
Salad.
courtesy to withdraw that.
Yes, they're not Count
Yes,
Salad.
you should apologize, but I ain't gonna ask you.
Yes, and I apologize profusely, grovelingly. Right.
No, that's not necessary. You only have to apologize one time. We
I just-
accept you at
My
your word.
groveling apology. I'm on my hands and knees.
Anyway, notices from you, sir?
Yes, notices for. This is really a joke. Notices for, we're renewing notices in the name of the opposition. I just want to say, I checked with the clerk of the Senate, and the date stamp is 8:57 a.m. It's supposed to be 1 hour before the start of the meeting. This meeting actually started today at 3 o'clock. It was way in time, if that is the quorum. I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you very much. And my groveling apologies.
Totally unnecessary.
Madam President.
Notice it. Okay. Order for clerk. Yes, sir.
This is the document that I've given notice about that we will be debating.
Okay. Orders for clerk. Adjournment.
Madam President, I now beg leave to move that the Senate on its rising be adjourned to Thursday, the 9th day of July, 2020 at 10 a.m. in the morning.
I rise to second.
Independence Eve, yeah, I hope we won't go.
It has been moved and seconded that the Senate on its rising be adjourned until 10 a.m. July 9th, Thursday, July 9th at 10 a.m. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is adjourned.
Thank you.